M4A1 with the Acog Scope, ACOG. It's a telltale scope. The Cco is long, thin, and the same diameter all the way. You can see on this Acog Scope how it's got this slanted front end to it. There, we're getting a better angle to it. One of my favorite scopes in the game. You can see right here that you got your red arrows, so you can see it in low level light. It's set at 300 meters. Then the first line would be a 4, 5, 6, 7, and 800 meters for this thing. So we'll take it down and shoot it here. Just got to eat as I go. It's one of my favorite guns in the game, but the 5.56 Stanag rounds, if you're over 400 meters away, I'd say over 300 meters away, it's going to take 2 hits. If you're 500 meters away, it will take 3. If you're 600 or more, it'll take 4 hits to bring something down. So another thing you can do, which is really good practice, before you start shooting, guess your yardage. This is about 300. If I aim at dead center at them, that's where I hit. Right in the back leg. So belt line. Center mass. I thought I saw another one down there, but there's only supposed to be 3 at the whoops, 3 at a deer stand. You can shoot this thing. I've hit 6 out of 12 AI at 725 meters is about the longest I've ever shot this thing. It's very difficult at that range to find your where your bullets are hitting. That's the biggest problem from all these scoped guns, scoped or unscoped guns rather, is if you can't tell from 5, 6, 7, 800 meters away where your bullets are landing, you don't know how to adjust to it. And the reason you don't know is because one shot evidently is not putting the AI down. If it was, it'd be easy to figure whether you're right on or not. So let me see if I can hit this tree real quick. You can see that. Now I just ran down here. I'm kneeling down so I can show you this too. This is me trying to hold on to the tree, and I can't find this particular spot on a tree. Let's say this bottom branch here, right dead center of that bottom branch. So I'm standing. I'd taken my hands off the keyboard, the mouse, everything. This is just me breathing. So if you got to snap off a quick couple shots to hit somebody, you're going to have a wider pie plate of hitting them. It's going to be a little bit less accurate. But sometimes you got to snap off just a few rounds, whether you can hold still or not, just to pin them down, especially AI or other players, to let them know. And sometimes I'll do this. Sometimes I'll shoot over their head or shoot 15 feet beside them. If they're getting a little bit too close to me in game and they don't realize, hey, I'm here. So and if they can't, it's too far. Anything over 75, I believe it's 80 meters on the nose for direct communication down on the left-hand side. Side channel, direct communication, vehicle, and group. Direct communication is exactly 80 meters on the nose, because me and a friend of mine tested that out several times. So as you can see, it's bouncing around a little bit. If I head down to crouch and I point, and I'm just going to adjust to hit the bottom of this branch here where it comes out from the tree. Now I'm going to take my hands off everything. If you're crouched, you can see how that circle that where it's at is a little bit smaller. It's a little bit tighter group. So then we're going to lay down, and if I could see that tree or pick a spot, let's go right here to the top. You can see the split in that tree, and the grass behind it will go right to the top there. And the circle of your accuracy is even greater when you're prone. Makes sense, right? You're laying down, you're able to hold with your elbows, and you're still. So now we can go over and do a couple things right here. Maybe, I don't know if these zombies are going to spawn in or not. I'll show you another good trick right here from another one of my friends. These stone walls are good to shoot from behind. You can hear my character breathing, and you can see where we're at right here. So that is about 400 meters, 350 for that cow, I would say. So if you wanted a headshot right here, whether it's a moving target or not, after you get your breathing back, it's better. Where is my house? The chicken over there. I might as well show you this real quick. When you're at these stone walls, there's a couple things you have to do to shoot around a stone wall. One, you want to have the most cover that you can. When you go into free look, you can see if I shoot right now, I'm hitting that stone wall. My barrel's not above it. So you got to move over to the side a little bit. And just a quick check with free look. Just to make sure that you're going to clear that wall before you start shooting, especially at AI and a mission. Got to make sure you have a clear shot. The problem with this is, even if you can squeeze up tight to this, tight as you want to this, as you can see, I'm a little bit exposed here. So when they start shooting back, it doesn't take much. You can actually hit somebody in the head if you're a little bit off on this thing. My head's above the wall. So I don't know if I can show you on here like he showed me or not. So when you duck down like this and put your nose to the ground, you're actually covered quite nicely. From over that hump. And that's why I just have it in free look right now so I can show you the difference. There's many a times that you can get caught by a stray bullet unintentionally from these AI at a mission, because when they get upset and nervous and they don't know where the shots are coming from, they'll start shooting at anything. They'll start shooting at zombies, chickens, pigs running by, anything, and they start to freak out. And sometimes they'll get caught in a mode where they're actually shooting back out of free look and back up. They have free look. Sometimes you'll hear them start shooting down there, and it's like they're burning off 500 rounds at a pig, and it's like, calm down. So that's one thing you can do there. I really wanted to stay around. Now this may work here too. I use this quite a bit in game, whether it's a tree. But when I'm going on a mission and I know that a mission is going to spawn in, say that helicopter is a mission, and I know that missions usually end up in that field. And that's actually a known heli crash spot. I've actually done that same heli crash on, visited it with 5 different servers. It's in the same spot on the crest of the hill. But let's say this house is a mission called the Stash House. And you know you're going to be shooting in this field anyway, anywhere, or in a town. You can swing by on any day, and there are no missions right now. There's one over on by Novi Sobor, but none by us. We're shooting right down in here. So there's none here. So you can say, okay, how far is that? That's 500 meters. I'm guessing. So if I aim right at the crest of that roof, you can see where it hits. Arrow at the crest of the roof, and it hits about 2 meters down. So let me aim at the very bottom of this window so you can see it. And we're right on that wood strip along the bottom. I'm going to put the red arrow at the bottom of the window. And now we're a foot down. So we're going to right click or get into our gear. See these half-filled magazines down here? Because sometimes you'll want to switch because you don't want to be caught off guard with AI coming through the woods and you only got 4 bullets left in your clip. So sometimes just load in a new clip is easier. But you can right click and click recombine. It'll recombine all them. You'll have to reload and it'll tell you below 1 full magazine of 30 rounds. And then the last one has 26. So we should have a 30 round right here and a 26. So you're going to move your cursor sometimes to get this going. So I know right now if I aim right here, I'm hitting below the window. So I'll put the 400 at the bottom of the window and it hit right at the bottom of the window. Put the 400 meter at that wood strip and it's actually a hair high. Still a hair high. Right on the nose. So now you can sight these things in long before you get to a mission. Just take some shots. You're going to have extra ammo in the game. Practice with these guns. You might as well have some fun and burn off some ammunition. But you also, it would be wise to practice with the gun so you can know the limitation of each gun. That SA-58, I played this game for a year. I had no idea that it's deadly up to 600 yards. You get anything over 600 yards, even 630 or meters. I use meters and yards interchangeably. I shouldn't do that, but 600 meters, then it is wildly inaccurate. At 600 meters, using an Acog Scope on that SA-58, let's say I wanted to hit dead center on that door. And let's say it's 800 meters away. I would have to put the 800 meter pin, which is the last pin on here, dead center, say at head height. I would have to put that up here by the window to hit down there at 800 meters. So even though the scope goes out to 800 meters, I'd have to aim for it like it was 1,200 meters away. So if this is, what do we say, about 400 meters, this should be about 6 to the bottom of that tree. .650 hit the bottom of the tree. Now another thing you'll find in your keyboard controls is a key called hold breath. I have mine set because of the way my hand lays down here. I have mine set to T. So if I wanted to hit somebody head high, I'll aim 700 meters, 6 feet high. And we'll go 600 meters, 6 feet high. I like the 600 meters, 6 feet high better. So you only want to hold that key for the hold breath. Oh, That's my second hit on him. Hit him in the back of the head. That hold breath key, the longer you hold it down, it's just like holding your breath in real life. You're actually holding your breath. So it will, you'll get out of breath and then you'll start heaving and then you won't be able to hold anything with any accuracy on your scope. So when you hold your breath to make a shot, make sure it's just for a couple seconds. Now with a 9mm, that may not have turned out the same. So I'll clip a bunch of these together. And round up some more guns as I go and clip a bunch of these together and show you some different things on the different weapons. I'll get an MP5 and silenced, and we'll go through that and everything. So let me gather up some more guns and we'll go through some more in a little bit. This is the AK-74 with a 5.45 suppressor on it. It can go from 100 meters up to 1,000 meters on the zeroing on the right. You can see how the silencer is sort of skinnier at one end than the other from the front sight. See if I can move out a little bit. And this is what it sounds like. I could find, here's its front sights. That's hitting high because I set it 300 meters. Here's 100 meters. Full. Full again. So you can see how it rides up there. And let me see what else I got in this one. M911 we already did. See if I got any rounds for this. No, I don't. M16A4. Here's a PKM. Much bigger gun. This is 7.62 millimeter, I think. It's got a 100 round clip. See the sights on it a lot like the AK. Nice big, extra sturdy bipod on it. Goes from 100 to 1,000 meters. trying to pull this away real quick so you can see where I'm hitting on that tree up there. So that's PKM. That's used in, a lot of times they'll use that in player versus player. I was just saving it for you guys. I don't use one. In player versus player, you have to take what you can get. Here's an SVD without the Pso-1 scope. I have, this is an A scope right here. Let me show you the SVD real quick. I need to find the scope that comes with it. Sights there, real nice, tight, level with the top. You can see the silhouette on that. It's the SVD. It comes with a Pso-1 scope, which I'll show you later. And it is right. I'll try to hit that same dot again. It is right on the money. So let me see if I can make a mark on that tree at the top of the hill. Yep. You can see just a little flash right there. Nice sniper weapon. A lot of people don't like the scope, but the scope has a hard learning curve on it. It's supposed to be easy, but it's not. But I don't have any Mosin rounds with me, but we just shot the Mosin, and I want to show you this scope right here. The A scope, or the Mosin. But the SVD is right up there. It has a 5-round clip. So it's right up there with the M24. It's a 7.62, I believe, also. It's hard with the lighting now because it's starting to change. So this is called the A scope, I believe. It's just a bare bones basic scope. I'm not sure how powerful it is. It seems like it's more than 2 times. They're probably calling it 2 times. A 2x scope. But it seems to me, maybe 2 times. Seems really powerful. If you got to hit something on top of that hill, you can see I was hitting the trees and everything. I had no problem with it, but right there you can really pick somebody off, and you can see how it's wandering around a little bit off this tree. But if I hold my breath by hitting T, which is what the button I have that I'm using for the hold breath in your keyboard control. And that's about it out of this stash. Maybe one more. Yep. This is the G36C. Maybe? G36K. An interesting gun. Very interesting. I'll show you the silhouette of it. I know it's hard to see the color and everything on here, but I want to show you the silhouette because there's a purpose for that. I want you to be able to recognize it when you see it land on the ground so you don't pass one up. It's the shortened version. Now they have a G36A or C, I can't remember now. I believe this is the K, shorter version. They have a longer version. So the range may change on this one. But the scope it has a dual reticle. So when you look through the top here, let me do this free look. You can almost see, it's hard to see, but there's two scopes you can look through, the top one or the bottom one, real tiny tubes on there. So you can see the fat tube that sits on top and then a smaller tube, and that's what you're doing. That's what they call a dual reticle. So when you're in town and you're fighting, you have this, and it's the same reticle as you use for the Cco scope. It's pretty loud. It's 5.56. We know that because these can be switched to the Stanag for the M4A1 or the G36, which makes that round even more popular if you can use it back and forth. Now, if I can remember with my keys, this is the green cursor, which I don't like using. This is zooming in. Now, if I hit the home key and get into free look here, is what it is for me. I always get these mixed up. But it has a sight on here that you're supposed to be able to measure the height of a man, 200, 400, 600, and 800 meters. If they fit in between them bars, that should tell you where you're at. Then I believe the center crosshair with a circle around it is set at 300 meters. And I want to say it doesn't go, on the bottom left it goes 2, 4, 6, 8. But these three crosshairs in the center aren't 2, 4, 6, 8. I believe they're 3, 6, and 8 or something like that. They're not even 4. Because this is about 400 meters up to that tree right there. Oh, maybe it is. Yep. So this must be 4, 6, and 8. And sometimes you have to put the ring on there. So you get a good dust cloud there. You can see that where it's hitting at. And sometimes you get that dust cloud, sometimes you don't. So it's hard to tell where it hits. Sometimes you get a bigger dust cloud. But you can be hitting AI with this. Now for 400 meters, that's hitting a little low, so what I have to do is put that bottom ring of the first crosshairs where I want to hit, about head high. Then I'm on. That's why I don't like it. It's just a little bit off for me, but it depends. So now I'll go back out of free look, and now it's you can use it for close-in fighting real quick. So this says the zeroing in the upper right hand corner is at 100 meters. Takes a 30 round magazine. So it's a nice gun because you could be fighting your AI at a mission with this, and I have used them on a mission before. But I like the Acog Scope better. But what happens is, I better take 2 more of these with me. But what happens is you need to, trying to think here. I want to show you the Cco Scope too. Now here's a Mark 48 with a Cco Scope on it. The reason I like the dual reticle is sometimes you have to fight in town where you need to see real quick, and sometimes you don't. This is a Cco Scope. You can see how it's short and fat. This is the same Mark 48 we were shooting before. See the scope in the bottom left-hand corner. Has a slight orange tint to it when you're facing it. And then if we come out of free look, this is what it looks like. You can, very good for close combat because you can still, you don't lose your opponent in there. If you have a DMR and someone's shooting at you with a DMR, say you have a DMR and they're shooting at you, whether it's an AI or another player, if they get within 200 meters of you, that's dangerous. That's when I stop and pull my pistol out, because you will lose them trying to find them in the sight if they're zigzagging back and forth. And then you can zoom in right here. So I don't know if I have any ammo for this one right here. I must not, because it would have put the ammo in for me right there. So here's your M68 CCO, your TA31A Acog. I'll switch over to the M911. Classic. Anybody should be able to recognize that. Matter of fact, in the military, all the way up to 1989, 1990, was pretty important because they still used the Colt M911. But not only did they use the Colt M911 for some U.S. services, they were still using the same exact guns that were used in World War II in 1945. So 44 or 45 years later, they were still using and servicing the same weapon. And I believe 1989 was the year that the FBI was taking a look at getting another weapon in, and they were trying to decide between a 45, which they liked because of its knockdown power, but the 9mm because it held more rounds, and they weren't sure what they were going to do. So other branches of the service and government agencies were waiting to see. Everybody was waiting at that time to see what's the FBI going to make for its final choice, because it's crucial. More rounds with a easier hitting bullet, or the heavier, fatter bullet but less rounds. They turned around, and between the 9mm and the 1045 or the 45, they chose right in the middle, 10mm, which were fairly new out at that time. So everybody else was waiting to see. And after 45 years of service from this gun, you can't ask for anything better. There's only about 7 parts when you strip one of these down, and you can actually clean one blindfolded. They're nice, but they're heavy hitting. The sights are a little bit tough to see, especially at night. That's why a lot of guys like those revolvers. But not much jump on that gun right there. So, just wanted to show you that real quick. And I'm going to move on to my next stash pile. See if I can. I got 8 at a, let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the base, in the north base. That one I just was at. The other 2 we were just at. And another one over by the Northwest Airfield. So let me take a look around and see what I can find. And I'll be back. This is the MP5. Real short tactical weapon, 9mm for in town. Try to move out to the sunshine here a little bit. It has the 9mm suppressor. You can tell because it's long, smooth, and has a white writing on it. Just the same thing you can use for a Beretta. That way you can use them back and forth. Wow, they changed the sound on this. That never used to be that quiet. That never used to be that quiet. And the jump on it isn't that bad. Yeah, with a silencer, that never used to be that quiet. So that might have been an update on there. Sounded a lot like that Bison before. The pew, pew, pew. And you can see there that the jump on it, it doesn't have too much of a jump on that thing. So you can stay on target real quick. Makes it beautiful for in time. So we're going to attach that back to the primary because I have another one. Get rid of it. Go back to my Acog. There's another one. I guess I could show you. There's not much I could show you about this one right now. It's the FN file with the AN PSV-4 scope. I don't know what AN PSV is. S is scope. I can't remember off the top of my head. But at least I'll let you take a look at it. You can find these. You can find these at heli crashes. They're rare, but you have to know what to look for. And if you see something with a big fat scope on it, this is the one you want. It's a night vision scope. So as we look through here, you can see the crosshairs on it set for 300 meters. We already did a excuse me. We already did a video on this of me at night with this rifle. The whopping big cannon. But if it gets dusk again, we'll try it again. It's just one I keep around for when I need to finish up a mission or something. Just seeing what I want to take back to the base. That's about it for now. I'll see you after a while. This is the Henry rifle. Real popular in game, as most of you probably already know. Beautiful looking gun, always has been. So here's the sights for it. And it's really accurate. Doesn't have a lot of range on it. Has its own unique, distinct sound there. Almost like it's got slower burn on the powder, like a black powder kind of deal. Let's see if I hit this tree. It's right on. It's real visible. But there's a rock behind that tree, and if I aim for the very top edge of that rock, it's hitting at the bottom. I can see the dust cloud right at the bottom of that rock. So I think this first one I would say is 75 meters away for the tree. Maybe 80, 85 meters. So it appears to be right on the money here. And I was aiming head eye. And I wasn't even trying to hit the same spot. That might have been an attempt on the rock. But down here is probably pushing 200 plus meters. At a 6 foot tall rock, you can see how much that it's dead on at 75 meters, maybe even 100 meters. Out to 200 meters, it drops 6 feet. So, yeah, maybe even a little bit more than that.